good.
Trying to get it.
We'll get the agenda session started this evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Pursuant to New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10-4-10, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising such notice in the Tribune, the Asbury Park Press, the Board Office of Schools, and on Cablevision Channel 118 and Verizon Virus Channel 24, and by filing such notice with the parent check clerk. This meeting was scheduled for Tuesday, April 17th, 2018. The board will take formal action on approving the bill and the other agenda items.
The Old Bridge Township Board of Education acknowledges that the law of this state establishes that members of the public, including members of the board, have the right to record public board meetings using audio or video recording devices, provided that that act of recording does not interfere with the business of this public board meeting. Therefore, the board makes it known that any such recordings be considered a private recording of the individual and in no manner represents the official record of this board. The board therefore takes no responsibility for such private recording and completely disavows any future use.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor.
Callie?
Here.
DeCarroll?
Here.
DePrima?
Here.
Steinhoff?
Present.
Lent?
Here.
Reed?
Here.
Singh?
Here.
Solakowski?
Present.
Dunn?
Here.
Quorum exists.
Very well, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending this evening's agenda session. It seems like we haven't been in session for some time. I guess we had that long break for spring. It doesn't feel like spring. Hopefully we'll be here soon. We had that 1 or 2 days of a tease, and now we're back into the midst of winter. With that said, Tuesday we'll start with a moment of silence. Will we be acknowledging anyone? There's no one here tonight, but I'm sure there may be someone. Okay. Who would volunteer to read the Code of Ethics in the month of April?
I will.
Thank you. Thank you. Nyla? Yeah. We have our district goals and work goals moving forward. This. Mr. Sedina, we have a superintendent's report.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that, before we get there, recognition. There'll be some more recognition pieces. We're going to have Salk School students and the work with the Old Bridge Animal Shelter, the Sodexo Future Chefs competition participants and volunteers, and an employee who came to the aid of a student who was choking, and a student who was recognized in the media.
Excellent. That's some great stuff.
And then there will be a superintendent's report based upon the accomplishments thus far, 2017-18 school year.
Some recognition when we do future chefs and student that's being recognized in the media. Can I do that?
Absolutely. You've been a big advocate of that program, so it'd be very fitting for you to be there to present. Progress towards goals, Mr. Sedina?
That'll be connected to the accomplishments.
Excellent. We would have correspondence if we have any at the time, Mr. Mayor. Do we have any special committee reports for the April session?
Yeah, there's one on curriculum.
Okay, Matt. Anything else? It's just curriculum. And we'll also have, we had a personnel committee meeting, so we may not discuss that, but we did have a personnel meeting last week. Special committee reports, just Matt, facilities use. All right, so I'm going to open up the hearing of the residents on agenda items only. feel free to discuss anything that's on the agenda this evening. Going once, going twice, close out hearing of the residents on agenda items, we'll move forward. Nothing on policy. There's no second and third readings. For policy, there's nothing.
Assessment hasn't even come out of the policy of everybody. Planning to go in the next one and not.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question on policy? I don't know the procedure. As everybody pretty much knows, the concession stand, you're supposed to have people in there that are certified, safe serve. I was one of the people, a couple others, certificates were up, but they were also expiring in April. I was in contact with the PTSA president, and they have 2 people that have since gotten theirs. So we're covered as far as if a Board of Health person should walk in or anything. It's pretty much just hearsay and word of mouth. Can we present and make a policy that somebody has to be in the PTSA, executive board or membership has to be certified in order to?
You have to have somebody who's certified in order to run that equipment, regardless of board policy. That is bigger than you. Because it's a Department of Health regulation, I would caution you against doing a policy on that, because the policy is either going to be identical to the municipal ordinance or the Department of Health regulation, which would make it redundant, or it's going to be different, which would make it illegal. Either of those is unideal.
Now, when the municipality uses the field, or when we have other organizations, they have use of the concession stand. Now, are they operating the equipment?
They have, we have guidelines for them, and they have to have some services.
And that's submitted to us prior to their use?
When they do the use one.
I just pointed out one thing. Last week I was in, at the Government Purchasing Agents of New Jersey's symposium. And every vendor that works with school districts in New Jersey has to sign off on a RAN document that indicates that they don't do business with a RAN. However, under the last administration, that was removed when the deal was made with the RAN. So now, New Jersey has a policy that you can't do any business with your RAN. And the federal government allows you to do business with your RAN. So that's where if you do a policy, and one policy is different, you always change the policies. No, I'm just saying, this just happened to come up last week because everybody was complaining that for federal purposes, if you spend money using a grant, you're allowed to deal with vendors that do transactions with Iran, but in the state of New Jersey, we can't do that. Just FYI.
Okay, so policy. Curriculum professional development, we have some items there. Any issues or concerns? I see we have some workshops, which is excellent. We just want to send our teachers out to further their education and bring that back to our teachers. 3. Anything on athletics? A lot of rehires? Or is that acknowledgements?
Well, a lot of them are just vacancies that we post every year, as we do as part of our procedure, and they will be filled by the same person or haven't been filled as of yet. And once we haven't had the opportunity to fill yet, then we'll remove it before the official.
Now, we can have coaches who are different cycles coach different teams, correct? So for instance, if you coach football, you can coach in the spring season too. I see, a lot of teams that are competitive with the spring season.
These are fall season,
Correct.
and we just posted winter season.
You're ahead
So
of
we
me.
are way far ahead.
That's good. Any issues? Now, with the athletics, we go through the process of,
We're sitting at
Ice
risk.
hockey position tonight, it seems very appropriate.
yes, very much. Athletics is one of those issues that many years ago, we're glad that our teams are excelling based upon what we've done. We're getting well qualified quickly. Any Anything on athletics? Finance, we have one action item on finance this evening. Your motion, thank you.
Sign-off the second.
Thank you, Mr. Dynos. Any discussion or concern on the payment of bills? Action one, two. No questions, roll call, Mr. Mayor?
Kelly,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Prima,
Yes.
Dino,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Singh,
Yes.
Solakowski,
Yes.
Dunn.
Yes.
Resolution one passes.
Very well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving on, under finance, we'll look at everything that is here. Mr. Mayor, number 4, how many more payments do we have left with the visa program?
As of today, we have $2.5 million in the escrow account. And the bulk of those items, the bulk of that money will be used to replace boilers in Sandburg, Salt, and Wooded. And we also will be replacing doors, energy efficient doors in many of the larger buildings.
And those energy efficient doors meet security standards of issue?
For some reason, I think there's a conception that every door officially has access, electronic access. It doesn't. So these are doors, the doors that have the electronic access are current
Hardened
code
doors? Okay.
These are replacing existing doors that are obsolete with current code doors. And also, so we expect the ESA project to be finished by December 31st.
Pretty much on time. Did the township approve the solar panels? I know there was a lot of questions that the building department.
And there's an issue that is unresolved at this point. And it's not a major issue, it's just an issue that relates to how close the solar panels can be to the edge of the building.
So, is Mike working on?
Oh, yeah.
Which I asked because I know we had a meeting regarding that.
Really?
Fire department, with fire department issue, and walking surfaces is needed. I know that the conversation was 6 feet, 3 feet. So I'm sure there'll be some give and take on our end, but to see what Mike comes back with, because I know that's what's called and everything.
It's not Mike, it's Geo.
Or whoever is the
Yeah. No,
filer for
they're
the.
working on it, that's the only issue that's preventing us from starting forward.
Anything on the finance? Moving forward. We have another action item in the non-prepared personnel office. May I have a motion, please?
I'll move it.
Can I have a second?
So I think he's one.
That was Mrs. Howard.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Any discussion or concern with item number 1 on the non-prepared personnel office?
Yes, is this a 10 or 12 month position?
It's a 12 months.
12 month position?
You satisfied, Mr. Solakowski?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Roll call, Mr. Mayor?
Callie,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Prima,
Yes.
Dino, Glenn,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Singh,
Yes.
Solakowski,
No.
Dunn.
Yes.
Resolution 1 passes.
Okay, non-prepared personnel office, we have others we need to look at. Any questions concerning non-certificated personnel office before we move forward? I don't see anything. Non-certificated personnel operational. Yes, sir.
Go back to one thing, what is intermittent?
That's when you take, instead of taking a full 2-month period, you take a day on Monday, a day on Thursday, a day on, so it's whenever something may happen. So,
Now, is that permitted based upon scheduling, so if they decide what days they need, that's permitted by law, they just can't blanket?
Yeah, you're required by law, both federal and state, to grant it when it's supported. And it can be, a day here and there as needed, depending on the case of federal agency employee, vice versa.
Non-certificated personnel operational. Do that. All right, non-certificated personnel other, we have an action this evening, and motion on items 1, 2, and 3. Thank you, Mr. Carroll. Can I have a second?
Elliot, second.
Thank you, Ms. Cowell. Discussion and concerns?
Just one little correction. Here it says item number 22 on here, but
On the addendum that we got showing what action items we had, it does not correspond with what we removed. 22 and 20. Up on there. Thank you. Discussion and concern? Roll call, Mr. Mayor?
Carol,
Yes.
Freeman, Dinoff,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Singh,
Yes.
Solakowski,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Done? Yes.
Resolution 143 passes.
Thank you, sir. Non-certificated personnel other, we have 67 items that we look at. See anything? Anyone see anything? Moving on to
Blank on item number 5.
5.
It's a shared service agreement with the township, so I think Mr. Marriott is going to them to get back on their agreement. So, only I can remember where, after the shared service agreement,
Current cap of the agreement.
Does he still get feedback from the township?
We have to reach it.
And overall, how are we doing with grants? Recipients of federal monies?
We just recognized in the social media for a grant we did with special needs, emotional sensory robot.
Is there a specific dollar amount? Or Park Street, $100?
Same as, no, I don't know exactly.
I think it was 7,500.
That's what.
Right.
High level, 7,500 strong.
Moving forward. Don't see anything else on the non-certificated personnel other. Certificated personnel. I have many retirements. I would like one of our board members to read it to the record. Usually I know Mr. Solakowski likes doing that.
I'll do it for you.
Thank you, sir. The names I recognize. Yeah. Anything on certificated personnel? We've got a lot of items. Vote non-certificated personnel transportation. just the acknowledgement, correct, Liz? Anything on the transportation? Anything with the supplies, equipment, and services? Seeing anything? How do we do with our snow budget this year? I know that we exceeded, but I don't know. I know. That's good. Passengers work for us, or?
Yes, and asking if we renewed.
They did a pretty good job this year, I'd say, considering how much snow we had and some of those difficult holes. I know that they try even to get the schools ready. Sometimes, Mother Nature is very difficult to deal with. Going to be renewing Brown and Brown and Arthur Gallagher?
Yes.
Transportation?
The town, I don't know what the town has agreed to increase up to 20,000 this year, next year, 25,000 for some transportation.
So one-time payment? Anything on the miscellaneous? Just check the committees to make sure that you attended so we have the record reflecting the correct attendees. Board Secretary and Board Business.
Item number 13, can we go through the May dates and explanation of the May dates? Actually, this is Thursday, May 13th.
That's 2000.
That's 2019.
19.
We will redo those again in January.
Oh, it says May 14th. It says right after.
The agenda session says Tuesday, May 14th. Says Thursday.
Since we're on the topic of our calendar, please remember that we do have our regularly scheduled Board of Education meeting next Tuesday, 24th, and then on the 26th, we do have our public hearing and vote on the budget. So just make sure you mark your calendars. All right, so hearing of residents on any school district related items. Absolutely.
The budget note was a nice segue. I don't know if this is a question that can be answered tonight, but the state put out their funding numbers a couple weeks ago. And when you look at Middlesex County, everybody got an increase, but Old Bridge only got a 1% increase, which was one of the lowest in the county. Other districts got as much as 12%. I think Metuchen had the high number. So I was wondering if we knew why our percent increase was so small and if there's anything that we could do to see a bigger increase from the state in the future. And if that can't be answered tonight, if that would be a better answer next week, I would understand that.
I'm not sure, I'll try. The answer initially is that there's really nothing that we can do. There's a student funding formula that's utilized to a certain degree, and the funding is based on the number of students, the trend of your enrollment, and your prior year state aid. So although other districts, and I did have to discuss this with some other districts, got significantly more than we did, the ratio of state aid to local, to total revenue in those districts is much less than ours. So we're getting 44 million. One of the other districts that I talked to only gets 18 million, I believe, and they got a 10% increase. So it's all about the funding formula. It starts with the funding formula and the trend of the enrollment, the trend of the title of the special needs students. So that's the quick answer. I'll try to be more specific at the budget hearing on that.
So it's,
We have no control over it.
I know we don't have direct control over it, but obviously.
We have no control over it. The only thing that happens is they look at our historical information over the last 5 years of our enrollment, of our free and reduced students, our special needs students, our transportation costs, and they put that all together. And then depending on where you are in the state, there's a geographic modification that's made to that. If you're in Bergen County, you may get more. If you're in Salem County, you may get less. So it's a difficult number to explain, but I'll do my best next week to elaborate further.
When you reference the ratio, you're talking about out of our overall funding,
Yes.
too high of a percent that comes from the state as opposed to.
Other districts, yes.
Other districts have greater under adequacy.
So if our budget is 150 million, 44 million is approximately state aid. The bulk of the difference is the local tax levy. In Piscataway, for example, or in East Brunswick, I believe, which is similar to ours, their local tax levy, and ours is approximately 100 million. Their local tax levy, I believe, is 115 million. So they're getting less state aid. So more shifts to the local.
So they had a bigger
taxpayer.
increase.
So some of them got a bigger increase. But I was just happy to get an additional $400,000. That was, for me, that was great.
So low property taxes equals smaller state increase, more or less.
It's not that simple.
I know it's not that simple, but that's, when you're talking about the ratio element.
Yeah, that's the ratio, yes. The ratio is state aid to total revenue and local tax levy to total revenue.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Hey, old business. Anything on old business? New business?
The only item I have is that the yearly requirement for the superintendent's evaluation and board self-evaluation. We're going to approach that timeframe. I'll encourage board members to do their portion of it during the month of May. So in the month of June, we can hold our meetings and be close to the state board deadlines.
Now, with the superintendent's evaluation, I guess everyone is eligible? No?
People who have conflicts based upon employees in the district are not eligible to participate in the superintendent's evaluation.
So there'll only be 4 board members doing his evaluation.
I believe we'll be fine. I believe that you, Ms. Callie, Mr. Carroll, and Mr. Reed are excluded.
Okay,
I
and,
believe that leaves 5.
okay, you do have what, you need supervisors, noon hour supervisor as well.
So
So that's 5.
that is 5.
So then we all can vote
So
with
then
compensation.
we will have to go for document necessity for purposes of the superintendent's evaluation. And everybody who is conflicted is unconflicted, which is another eccentricity of state law.
So we all get to
So, yes,
speak our
everybody's,
mind on our superintendent.
everybody's in, so that they can participate in that process.
And do we need to do anything to notify, or we just put it on
We
record?
will put that on the agenda at the meeting prior to the meeting where we'll be having that executive session discussion with the superintendent. His evaluating comments.
Good. I guess this will be old business. I know that the board, I sent out a text to individual board members concerning a scholarship fund from the members of the Board of Education. So if you want to participate, just let me know. I had a few board members already advise me that they would like to. So just please let me know so that we can put it together and come up with some criteria so that we could put the language together so we can present it to whomever we feel is within our auspicion of providing this recognition. That's June, right? Usually the first week of June? So then
The
we need,
21st is scholarship night.
all right, so then we need to,
We will have one meeting before that.
correct. So we'll talk about, I'll put together some criteria, I'll send it out to everyone can wordsmith it, and what their thoughts are, we'll put something together.
That goes to the scholarship committee then, right?
Correct. It will go to the scholarship committee. They will, on our behalf, determine who meets our criteria for the scholarship. We could divvy up 10 different ways if you want to do X. So we'll determine that. I'll come up with some ideas, and then I'll just kick it along to everyone.
With all due respect, the ideas and criteria should be.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'll send it to everyone that wordsmith it and go through it. Someone needs to start.
So if you say A and I think B, they have B, you take away A.
Right. It'll be a group discussion. Put it together. So.
And so we have to advertise that.
Maybe we could
But
do it.
if it's only, if it's us the person, not the board, that's what you look for.
But still, we'll still
But you're still going to
agents
have,
of the public.
you're still acting under the hat of your board membership, and there'll be 5 or more that have the discussion, which subjects that discussion to be a public meeting.
So then we should just do it now? You want to take 5 minutes since we're ahead of the curve? Can we do that now, discuss that? So since we're here, can I have some suggestions on what type of person should be, what kind of characteristics, what type of young adult we're looking forward to provide scholarship to? Open up the floor. Jill?
When I've done PTA work in the past, I've attended a lot of scholarships. There's a lot of recognition for like parents. So I would suggest that people make this
Well-rounded.
well-rounded, works in the best evaluation.
Shows a lot of potential, maybe.
One thing I'd like to see is student senate, because they be a part of us. Well, that's only about 5.
Looking for
That's
someone.
not really, oh yeah, that's a
That's really, I didn't realize that. How about the, not senate? You know, the group beside senate here?
Since we're community service.
We have volunteers who volunteer in the community or volunteer in the school
Yeah,
community.
Community service, yeah.
Community service. Leadership, maybe? Someone who shows leadership, that's very important.
I mean, my personal opinion, I don't know if you want to
And
close.
strict.
I don't know closely.
So we got well-rounded, shows potential, student incentive possibility, community service, volunteer. Anything else?
I also promise, I also almost like to be like not someone that, and I'm loving to do that, but not somebody that's getting like 5 scholarships already, like somebody like really singled out, you know, like almost like how we had the unsung heroes kind of thing, you know, something like that, somebody that wouldn't otherwise get acknowledged, you know.
That's a good one. All right, so we've got well-rounded, shows potential, student senate possibility, community service, volunteer, leadership, unsung hero. Anything else? Dave, you want to throw something in here?
I want to make sure it's completely a board-driven decision.
Matt, you've had many years as a teacher. What would you look for?
Repeat the question?
Well, we're looking to do a scholarship from the members of the Board of Education. There's no taxpayers' money involved here. It's from the graces of our pockets that we're going to have this scholarship. Whatever money we collect, we'll have a scholarship for a senior who will be graduating, and we're trying to put the criteria together so that we can give the committee some guidance on what we're looking for as the potential recipient of the scholarship.
Yeah, we need to think about that. What direction we should go. Do we have any input who gets it? Not who, but the type of person?
No, I believe that's the committee.
That's
Okay,
what,
let me think about it.
We just, we
Right,
set the
we give the criteria and they'll choose the person.
All right, so good night, everyone.
So, all right, so I think we have a little, we have enough to start.
Are we leaving student senate in there? Because as Sal said, there's only 5 people.
You know, but it's just,
Well, student
Is
senate
it
can be
so
leadership,
bad?
can be leadership too. you
yeah,
know.
but is it that bad? I mean, I went through the scholarship process, you know, twice, my children also, but I don't know how many student senators there are. Well, wait, the Senate is just the president, the treasurer,
Yeah, there's
the
delegates.
senators,
Schools have delegates.
the senators is a large group. I
Yeah.
remember seeing the show, student senator.
Very large.
It's not just 5.
It's very
Is it
large. Very large.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Senate
the
meets-
officers are fine.
Senate meets,
Just seniors
fills the
and
library.
stuff like that.
Well, then I
Well-
stick with what my.
Well, that could be
suggestion.
volunteerism too, because they'll volunteer for the betterment of their school environment, right?
That's one way to fulfill the leadership.
Right.
Just the second
Right.
There
one.
could be many other ways.
Correct. If you're
Five of the
ROTC.
officers, but the senators are,
Right.
you know.
So I think we make it leadership slash student senate. I think, what's that?
To me, the Senate is the 5 officers, senator, senator, whatever.
Delegates.
How do I
so,
say the other one?
The larger
Senate
Right,
delegate.
right.
But
I mean, that would make
Yes, all
more
right.
sense to me.
But are we saying that it has to be one of them, or it's just one of the positive criteria to have to be a candidate? So they may be only 60,
I'm
and
just one.
we got 800 students in our graduating class.
Everybody else says, no, it's fine.
No, you
Yes,
won't.
Lisa?
We were just talking, I think, I know you mentioned that whatever you feel you could contribute, you should, but as we were just discussing, maybe we should agree upon an amount, and then everyone contributes that amount. And then this way we could really figure out if we could give, you know, 2 scholarships, a boy and girl scholarship, or just one scholarship.
Well-
This could be anywhere from $200 to $1,000. I mean, we have, like, it's hard to,
Sid,
no, but I mean, you know, I mean, per person. I didn't mean,
since
you
it's
know, I didn't mean per
voluntary, I'm
person,
not
I
going
meant.
to ask and
Yeah,
demand of our board members to contribute. I would rather keep it confidential, and whatever money we come up with, that's what we're going to push forward.
It could be $100 this year, it could be $1,000 this year.
Correct, so I don't want to put anyone,
But I
What
refuse
you
to do
could do at this time is set a guideline.
Not gonna learn by me
If you
doing it.
exceed a certain amount, then it's divided between 2 people. If you keep it under a certain amount, then it's 1 scholarship.
Absolutely do that. It's wide open, you can set whatever criteria for.
so do we want to do a $500 scholarship, and if we get $1,500 to $2,000 that we contribute as 9, I'm not saying that's what we're doing, but I'm just throwing it out there. Do we want to do $500 increments, $250 increments, $100 increments? It's whatever the desire of the board. This is a new endeavor for us, but I feel that, you know, we should do something because we do go to the ceremony, and all these organizations are pledging money and providing money to our children, and we haven't done anything in the past, but I think it'll be a nice gesture going forward, and that's why I felt that it may be a good thing. So that's why I want to keep it confidential, because
Right, yeah,
each
because
of
we
our
don't
meetings
know,
are different.
you know, who can afford what, and I understand that, it's just, it's kind of hard to, you know, you don't want to, you don't want to give out, you don't want to stand up there and give a $200 scholarship from the board, that, I don't know, you know.
Right. So we want to make it $500 increments?
Well, you've received the responses.
I
How other responses?
I didn't respond.
There's quite a few that haven't responded yet.
Okay.
I know that a few responded, and I know I have a dollar amount already pledged, but I'm still waiting for others to.
So then why don't we table that decision until you have all
Okay, so we can
everything
wait
in,
until
this way you could make a decision.
next week, and then, you know, we can discuss this further.
That's great, that's a good idea also.
What's that, I'm sorry?
The only thing bad with that is next year. If we're gonna change the levels every year, I like the idea of what Dave said. Whether it's 250 increment, 500 increment, whatever the increment is, I think that should be set.
They don't know how much they're.
You know.
No, again, you know,
Audience,
we're
no.
here to
Nobody knows.
agree.
This is brand new.
Right, this is new, so I just need
No, I know.
the feedback from the board, because it's coming from all of us. Even if you don't contribute, we're still one unit,
No, I know.
and your name
Oh,
as
it's
a board
just-
member is going on.
They'll know
So
after they get it, and
regardless.
then,
So,
you know,
let's come
people
up
will
with the
know
parameters
afterwards.
and the specifics, and then we can finalize.
No, I'm in favor of more money, don't get me wrong.
No,
I'm just saying that nobody knows, but they.
All right.
No, I know,
What's the
I
deadline
know.
for board members declaring how much they're going to?
I would like to know as soon as possible, because that will make it a little bit easier for
Yes,
us.
then you can meaningfully define it.
Correct.
Does anybody know when the scholarship usually meets?
I'm sure they're already.
I'm out of school all the time.
That's in 6 weeks. Usually
Scholarship
10.
night is May 21st, so that's barely a month.
So we gotta move on this.
They might have already started their process.
They
They
have,
can
but
always
we can get in
add.
here
It's
with-
not just, it's not just,
One more scholarship.
they just pull names out of the hat, the students have to apply for it.
Oh, no, I know, I remember that part.
So we need to make a decision, so if you haven't already, please reach out to me, let me know so we can
Yeah, by
finalize
March,
this.
they have.
We got some criteria here which we can utilize as a guideline, and we'll pass it on and put it together and see if we agree. If we agree, then we move forward. Anything else? Old business, we just had new business?
Okay, new business. Our organization chart, I haven't seen one. For many, many years, what we did is when the new board was elected and they came on, the administration would sit down with the board and go over the entire organization. I haven't seen one in the last 2-3 years. So I think what we want to do is go into the archives, pull the old ones out, see what the administration was like before, the organization chart. Study them and see, let's come up with a new administration.
I think we went through the exercise in 2012, if everyone remembers, we did reorg the entire Board of Education and the administration. We went through that process in
That was a long time ago.
excruciating
That was a
detail.
long time ago.
I understand that, and, you know, the new org chart that was implemented has really paid incredible dividends. And I don't think
Yeah.
we want to open that up right now for a discussion. I know that we tweaked it, I believe, when,
2015,
that Mr. Cascone?
well, yeah, with Dr. Tui and Dr. Cascone, both on there. It was tweaked before the hiring process that brought us executive director of curriculum and academics. So that was around 2015, and then the chart sits live on the district website.
Now, Matt, if you
I would
want
like
to have a
see the old
committee
ones.
to
I would like to see the
discuss
old
some
ones.
changes, of course, you know, we can.
Sure, I think it's smart, we have to do that.
The organization chart is administrative.
Okay.
The board access to it
Right.
is a different question entirely. Certainly the board can review it if those
And make
documents
recommendations,
exist.
or,
They wouldn't really make recommendations, they would discuss the recommendations of the superintendent for any changes.
Got it.
But as far as understanding the history of it, there's nothing wrong with the access.
You got to remember, there's new board members here, they don't even know what the organization chart is. And I think everybody has to do this first.
You start out.
You do? Have you seen
The
one?
website.
I haven't
Start-
seen one
give everyone
recently.
the
It's on the
link.
It's just a
website.
click away.
I just read it on-
There's
yeah.
only one.
Yeah.
So Mr. Silikowski, what we'll do is we'll go through the CAFRAs for the last 10 to 15 years.
Right.
And there is a page in there that has the organizational chart, which should be open.
Right, put them in the next month's agenda, in the folder.
Next month?
In the folder, in the
Okay.
folder.
I just want to
You
be
got a
sure,
month to work on it.
I just want to be sure we're giving Mr. Slakowski his action chart. You're not just asking for this organization chart, you're
No,
asking,
the old ones, I want to see basically what changes took place.
what are the guidelines?
It's up to two.
What do you mean, what are the guidelines?
1915?
No, I would say,
2012, that's when we
wait, what do you think?
changed.
Nicole Okamon.
Vulcan was what,
I think she was
19?
She was, when I got here, so she's 2005.
It was
I think she
Nicole.
was done around 10, because then Brian came in for,
She left in 2006.
oh, Bosco.
And before that, we had Rodriguez.
Yes.
So it's just for-
And before that, we had, real good guy. Yeah,
Michelle?
No. Andy's been here for many years, Coachella. Okay,
So
2005 on.
yeah,
All right, so just, let's make this very clear. The Board of Education has no power whatsoever
we understand
to
that.
tweak the org chart.
We understand.
Now, obviously, if the superintendent wants to change it, then he'll seek our approval. But this is just for information purposes only, just so that you understand how it has evolved. Because we had an incredible process back in 2012. We spent months on this process, and we vetted it, and I think you were on the board at the time, and we came up with an org chart that has really propelled this district forward in the last 7 years, and we've paid a lot of dividends. But to share it, so you can review, it's not a problem.
Thank you.
Anything else? Moving forward. Is there going to be any executive session?
No,
There is not, no. 8:15 is pretty impressive. So with that said, I have a motion to adjourn. Thank you, sir. Do you have a second?
Your hand went up real quick.